Running a candle business while working a full-time job. We've been there pouring candles on the weekends while everyone else is relaxing, packing orders late at night, and trying to squeeze in social media posts during our lunch break. Now, in this episode, I'm going to share exactly how to make it work without burning out and what to focus on when time is limited but your goals aren't. So when Chad and I started our candle business, we were both working full-time jobs. So the goal was from the very beginning to replace Chad's 9-to-5 job with a candle business. That was our goal. But we were both working full-time. So we had to find time around our busy schedule to squeeze in candle making and squeeze in the business side. We took our time going through the candle making phase. We could have sped that up if we had the right direction. That's something that we cover often in our candle making course, or if someone takes our boot camp, is we promise you can go from a complete beginner to knowing how to make candles and understanding the candle making side in and out in 28 days, in a month. And that's because we're giving direction. But when we started without direction, we're watching all different YouTube videos. We are in all different kinds of Facebook groups. We're following all different makers on different social media platforms. And that's all totally fine, but everyone's going to do it a little differently, right? So if you don't have a blueprint to go from A to Z, you're going to get off course a little bit. And that's part of learning anything. You can listen to podcasts, you can read books, you can watch YouTube videos. There's so many different ways people learn. And then we pick up advice from different people along the way. So I'm not saying that if it takes someone more than a month to understand candle making, that they're doing it wrong. We just created our candle making course to get people from A to Z as quick as possible with showing the way that we do it, right? So we've documented everything. We turn it into that. So once you're past the candle making, that's what we're talking about today, is the turning it into a business, right? So whether it takes you a month or 6 months or a year to get the candle making side down, after that, we got to turn to a business. And that's really where a lot of the work comes in. Because now with candle making, you are getting progress with every single pour, every single blend. Every time you make a candle, you're actually able to see the progress. And that keeps us moving and that keeps us motivated. But when we're turning into a business, you're going to be doing things that you're not getting results right away, right? When you are posting on social media, it's not going to get you a result necessarily right away. When you are building out your website, you're not going to be getting sales right away. When you are starting to reach out to businesses to do fundraisers, you're not going to get emails back right away. All these different ways that you're going to have to work on growing your business. When you don't get results right away, that's often when people start to give up. So today I want to talk about how do we find time to do all of this stuff? So realistically, you're going to need 5, 10, 15 hours a week to work on your business, not in your business, not making candles, but on your business, right? To get things in place. You have to build a website. You have to get your branding down. You have to start thinking about how you're going to reach out to different organizations if you're going to want to do a fundraiser or if you're going to want to apply to do markets. All of these things are going to take time. So let's talk about some of the ways that we look at our availability. So with us, I like my social media, not as much now as I used to. But I found that I was spending a lot of time on social media. In fact, with my with iPhone, I don't know what phone you are using, but with any of them, they can track how much time you're using on different applications. And every Sunday I get an update and it says you spent this amount of time in the email, this amount of time on social media, this amount of time on search engines like on Google. And so it breaks it all down. How much time I was actually on the phone, I was in messages, all of that stuff. So looking at that showed me a lot of areas that I could cut back on getting off of my phone and focusing on the business. I cut out a lot of social media while I was focusing on the business. When we are first starting our business, it's a matter of finding time because a lot of us, we're all busy. We don't have a lot of time. So we would get up an hour early and just focus on the business. I was focused on the website build. Chad was focused on redesigning our labels. We went through a lot of reiterations when we first started. So he would focus on that. I would focus on the website, building that out. On lunch breaks, it's, focusing on photo editing. And then in the evenings, we're pouring candles. And so we would have this cycle that we were going through. And so, really, it's how much time can you free up? Because if you can't find that 5 hours, that 10 hours a week, it's going to be really tough to get your business off of the ground. So we can't romanticize that we have all this extra time on the weekends that we can start now dedicating to our candle business. You have to really decide, are you going to do that? Are you going to be able to commit that amount of time to your business? Are you willing to give up social media? Or I tell Chad he enjoys going to the grocery store because when he goes to the grocery store, he's gone for like 3 hours. And so I'm like, Chad, can you make that an hour-long trip instead of 3 hours? Or where can we get time back in our life because we're all so busy? Where can you get time back? So once you have figured out, okay, yes, I can do 10 hours a week into my candle business. All right, great. We have the time. Let's figure out how to use that the most effective for our business. All right, so we have to prioritize those high impact tasks. That's going to be focusing on your product development, your branding, creating a strong presentation of your products. So those are all going to be the high level tasks that we want to work on first. Those things that are must. Now, some things that we can skip for now is going to be your logo. Your logo design, you're going to go round and round for a long time designing your logo. Don't let that be the priority over your branding, creating that strong offer, and your product development. Those are the things that are going to be the most important. Your logo can evolve over time. Another area is going to be social media platforms. Do not try to be on every social media platform when you first start. So for us, our focus is Facebook and Instagram. That is where our customers live. So we prioritized those high impact items. One of those being, what is your niche? Who is your target audience? So once you know your niche and your target audience, you need to go to where they're at. So for our customer, they are going to be Facebook and Instagram users, more Facebook actually than Instagram. They're a little older demographic. They're not on TikTok. They're not on Twitter or X or Blue Sky. Though you have to decide, where are my customers? And then put all of your energy into that social media platform. I would start out with a maximum of 2. I don't know Pinterest. I know some people have a lot of great success with that. I imagine some of our customers would be on there. So that would be a route that I would look at going down. But again, it's a matter of time. And I know for a fact that our customers are on Facebook and Instagram. So we spend a lot of time there. So don't try to be on everything at once. So now we have to ask ourselves, what is going to move our business forward? For us, we like to batch our work. That keeps us sane. That keeps us from not feeling that overwhelm. We do a lot of our work in time blocks and in batching our work. So one night, Monday nights, it is our social media planner. So on a Monday night for 3 hours, we are just cranking out all the social media posts that we need to have for the next couple of weeks. So that is a Monday night thing that we still do now. If we don't have social media done, we know on Monday nights we're going to do that. So we can be watching TV, trying to enjoy some family time, but also getting that knocked out. So even though now that we've grown, we have 3 stores and we have team members, but they're not managing our social media for us. We're still doing all of that. So that's something that if we can get it done while we're at the shop, if we're covering the floor, sure, that's fantastic. What usually will happen is while we're at the shop, we'll be taking a lot of photos. For you, maybe whenever you're producing, take a lot of photos while you're doing that, while you're waiting for those items to cure. Start getting all of those assets together, and then just spend one block of time sitting on the couch, relaxing, trying to still enjoy those other areas that I'm saying pull time from. Still do those things, but at the same time, you can be creating the social media post that you're going to need over the next few weeks. So that's one of the things that we will do. Another thing is we would, when we're first starting out, we would have one day that was just pouring. So generally that is going to be a weekend day where we had more hours. Or if you have an evening where you have a good 3 or 4 hours of a time block that's wide open, use that for your pouring, because getting into pouring, heating the wax, pouring just takes longer than other aspects of the business. One day we are pouring our candles, and then the next day we're doing all the packaging. So we're trimming the wicks. We are putting the labels on the front. We're putting the warning labels on the bottom. We're putting them in a box if it comes with the box. We're getting them basically shelf ready. And then one day that we have a time block available, we are doing all the admin stuff, all the back end stuff, making adjustments to our Shopify. So we like to, rather than have a to-do list that's always ongoing, we would have time blocks and we like to group similar tasks together. That really helped us to stay focused and not feel so scattered. Another great thing about doing time blocks rather than doing a to-do list, your to-do list is never going to end. In fact, I mean, I have a to-do list going that is so long, it's never ending, right? And it can be exhausting. But if you have time blocks where you break up your business into different categories, and during those time blocks, you focus just on that category. So let's go back to, let's have a quick category for production, and then let's have a category for packaging. Let's have a category for social media and photography. Let's have a category for website build. Only doing those specific category tasks during that time will allow us to get so much more done without getting that like mental drain of, you know, producing a candle and then taking photos of that candle and then going and scheduling that one post on social media and then going and uploading it to our website and, and going in that circle. It can get really exhausting. So I recommend trying to build out repeatable weekly rhythms versus like trying to scramble daily. If you can look at your schedule ahead and find those areas, whether that's going to be a little bit of time before your workday begins or possibly right when you get home before dinner time. Personally, that's when I like to get stuff done because once I eat, I'm full. The dogs are rowdy. We've got some trash TV on, like that we're enjoying, and it's like, oh, I don't want to go into the office and get stuff done. But if I get home from the shop and it's like, okay, I have to get these things done because we have a launch coming, whatever the task is that has to get done. If I get it done right after work before I start to relax a little bit, I find that that is going to be the most productive time for me. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. I used to like to sleep in on the weekends. When we started our candle business, it was getting up early because we still had responsibilities on the weekend. We still enjoyed going to the farmer's market. We enjoyed going and getting the grocery shopping done. Well, Chad did, not necessarily me. I enjoyed walking the dogs, things like that. We didn't have extra time, so we had to build more time. So that was, okay, I got to get out of bed earlier, or maybe I got to stay up a little later. I'm going to be super honest. I like to be in bed by 9:30 every night. I work really long days. I think I work really long days. I'm sure many of you probably work even harder than I do. But I feel like I wake up, 7:30. I'm at the computer or I'm at the shop by 8 o'clock, even though the shop doesn't open till 10. I'm getting stuff done. And I'm also working within Candle Business Pro. We have our membership and I'm dedicated to our members. So I have questions to answer. We do office hours every week. So I have to make sure that the time I have is used very wisely or I'm going to drop the ball somewhere. And that's something I certainly don't want to do, especially for our members in our inner circle. And doing things like this where I'm recording episodes for other people, I have to do this on a specific day and time, or it's not going to get done in time because everything has to get edited and then it has to get uploaded. There is, if I drop the ball on the front end, it's a domino effect and things aren't going to happen properly. So I would get up early on the weekends so that I didn't mess with the routine that we already had. Circling back to what I talked about at the beginning, you don't want to burn yourself out. So trying to move some of those enjoyments that you do have in life. We do enjoy our TV time together in the evening for, an hour or possibly an hour and a half. And we enjoy that time together as a family. So we want to keep that. I don't want to work too much. I have seen just in our getting personal here, where I will be working too much and then I'm letting my spouse down. I'm not giving my dogs the attention. I'm not messaging with my, mom through text, or I'm not making those phone calls to family members, things that we would do. You want to make sure that you're not forgetting about the obligations that we have. And I get to that point sometimes where work takes over and I need to kind of step back and reevaluate where I'm putting a lot of my attention. So trying to find some open availability is tough, but it is there. Whether that's going to be that 5 hours or that 10 hours, it's there. We just might have to move some things around. I like to move them around to where they're in blocks so I can do these different categories that I just went over and doing them all at the same time. We do have if you are in our inner circle, we have actually a time block chart that I use every week still that you can download. That's under the resources there if you're a part of that. If not, we would love to have you inside the inner circle. Come check us out. You can see the link in the show notes below. Okay, so to start the wrap up here, I want to share a couple of tips with you. Don't compare your progress to full-time makers. If you are just starting out and you are comparing yourself to me or to another candle maker or another candle business, you're not going to get any benefits out of that. Don't compare your progress to someone else. Your life and my life and someone else's are all different, and we all have different amounts of time. We all have different experiences. We all have different backgrounds, and we all have different obligations in life. So just stay focused on getting to the next step. And don't, even though I do promote a lot, especially like with our candle making, that you can go from A to Z in 30 days, 28 days, a month, and then you can open up a business within a month. That's because of the amount of time that I have available to put into it. If you don't have that amount of time, if it's taking you longer than that, that is completely okay. Oftentimes, especially when we're doing these new businesses and we're trying out new things, it's a hobby, but then we fall in love with it and we want to see if we can make it into a business. There's a lot of things that we have to learn that aren't necessarily business specific. Some people don't know how to use certain social media platforms. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't do TikTok, is because I don't know it. It seems like it's changing all the time. Like I don't get it. But if that's where my customer was, then I would have to learn that, and that's going to delay some of the areas of my business. But it's something that I have to learn. If you don't know the ins and outs of some of the basic bookkeeping, it's something that you're going to want to know. If you don't know how to price your candles, that's something that you're going to have to learn. So all of these things are going to take time. So don't think that because someone else, even if they started the same time as you, and you see them in 6 months from now and they're selling and they're doing a lot of wholesale and they seem to be doing really well, but you're still like struggling with your branding, it's okay. Don't get down on yourself. Remember, we have to keep the positivity that we enjoy doing this. If you start to compare yourself and you start to feel like you're a failure because you're not where someone else is, you're going to not want to do this anymore. And then you're going to want to give up. If you've already gotten through the candle making and you're wanting to make this into a business, you're already so far ahead compared to so many people. So keep going with it. So don't give up and don't compare yourself to others. Another thing is you've got to build in rest. You've got to, we've talked about trying to squeeze in time in this episode, but you do have to rest. You do have to keep doing those things that you enjoy so you don't start to resent this. If you like to watch trash TV like I do, I've watched every Housewife episode just about on every season of every city. I enjoy doing that. I don't want to give it up. That's kind of our family time. That's kind of, we sit there and we are just like, oh my gosh, is this real life for these people? We have fun with it. It's mindless. We don't have to put a lot of effort into watching it. We don't have to pause the television whenever we leave the room, so we don't miss something. So make sure that you still enjoy the things in life that you enjoy. Don't go overboard with going all in on the business. And celebrate your micro wins along the way. Every little thing that you do in your business, every step that you take in the right direction, celebrate that because it's a big deal. If you spend tonight building out your Facebook business page, it's a big deal. If you take photos of your candle, that's a huge deal, actually. Taking photos can be so tough that once you get past taking photos, celebrate that, reward yourself, whatever ways of rewarding yourself that you might do. I like to go get ice cream. I'm a big ice cream person. I'll do that. Or I'll just take an evening off. Sometimes it's like, you know what? It's 5 o'clock. I'm done for the day. Because realistically, I'm working on our business just about every day, every night. So I will get to a point where we have hit a milestone. For instance, last night we wrapped up our boot camp for this month that we did with new candle makers. So we just wrapped up our last Zoom call last night. So I enjoy doing those so much. But that's another obligation that is on our calendar for every week while the boot camp is happening. So after I get this podcast episode done, I am going to go and enjoy the rest of this day that I am calling my day off, even though I've now been working for several hours. But just make sure that you're celebrating those micro wins, taking your time off for yourself. I want to thank you for taking this time to spend with me today to talk about some of the ways that we are going to move our business forward. And I believe that time blocking and managing your time and your priorities is a really, really big deal. Create a list of 10 things that have to get done in your business. Now, prioritize those top 4 items. Don't think about those bottom 6 items until those top 4 are completely done. So whether that's photography, that's building out your website, that's building out your social media, only prioritize those top items and only focus on them for now. Once you get those done, move on to the next block of items to do. So I think that will really help you to keep focus on where you're going. And just remember, it's not about doing it all. It's about doing what matters the most with the time that you have. If you're juggling a lot, you're not behind. You're building something the smart way. Take the time that you need to get your business to where you want to go. Make sure that you are enjoying it along the way. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Do me a favor, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're doing to prioritize your business. What's the most important thing for you in your business? Of course, there's no wrong answer there. We all have different priorities and things that we're focusing on. Let me know what you're focusing on. And then also let me know what's kind of on the back burner that you are saying, you know what, that can wait until I'm ready to get there. So I would love to have a conversation in the comments about what's working well for you when it comes to time blocking. Or if you haven't done any time blocking yet, maybe that's something that you want to start. Thank you so much for listening to the Candle Business Pro podcast. If you found this episode helpful, we would love it if you'd leave us a rating and a review. It really helps us reach more makers like you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care.